What's up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We're back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate career into a life of freedom and become the rock star agent in your market. And we've got a great guest with us today. We're talking about how to make a fourth quarter push. So if you think we're going to let you hit the coast button for the rest of this year, you are absolutely wrong. You are not allowed. We want to get you set up for the next year. So if anybody is thinking that they'll do their first quarter business planning in January, you're going to be late, because the rest of us that are going to succeed are on this podcast, and we're talking with a great guest today about how to do that. So first of all, before we bring him in, my esteemed colleague, co-host, co-partner, and co-pilot in all things real estate related, and to a disturbing degree, general life related, Greg McDaniel. We've talked way too much lately. What's up today?
Oh, shut your pie hole, Johnson. I talk just the right amount for everybody can hear the wonderful words of wisdom spewing from my mouth at all times. But dude, I've had such a cool day, dude. I had a special delivery today by Mr. James Colburn. Delivered me a couple of his books, but not just one, Matt, not just one. Oh, yes, they kept coming in. I got another one. I got another one. I got another one. And yes, I got another one. All for my enjoyment. But I also had the opportunity to talk to a guy, one of our listeners, Wyatt, dude. He's an ex-military guy, super cool dude. Getting into the business, starting off as most agents do, like struggling, financially. And, the cool thing is he is such a hustler and such a grinder, man. I see just wonderful, incredible things for him. Dude, he listens to us 6 to 8 hours a day. When he's at work and is at his full-time job, 6 to 8 hours a day of us jabber on. And he listened to one episode. He's like, that's it, I'm fucking hooked, dude. These are my boys. This is my crew. And so he's been in it listening to us. So, dude, knuckles to you, homie. Awesome getting to talk with you today. I see amazing things for you. So I'm on cloud nine. I got Don here. Dude, I met Don on a call. He's introduced to me by another gentleman. And, dude, Don and I started chatting about kind of coaching. And dude, the two of us just started, we're like peas and carrots, man. We're meant to be together. It was wonderful. And I said, you got to come on the show. You got to come on the show. And after twisting his arm, and he's like, no, I can't. I said, Don, you got to. I said, Don, I'll pay you $1,000, damn it. Come on the show. So he finally agreed to $750, and he came on the show. No, I'm kidding. But I really am glad to have you here, Don. You're awesome, dude. And I think that you are a perfect match for our clientele, the type of clients you go after, your mentality and mindset. All joking aside, dude, really, I'm pumped to have you, man.
Great. I'm glad to be here. I'm looking forward to this hour.
Good.
So
that means I'll cancel the check. Is that cool?
Yeah. Well, it never made it anyway, so don't worry about it.
Cool. Oh man, Matt, let's kick this thing off, buddy. I'm in a mood. Let's go.
You are in a mood. I have an interesting question that we'll spend some time on just here right off the bat. So Corrine Hale, this is in the Lead Gen Description Objections group, says, I'm going old school and back to print media. What's your favorite thing that you faithfully mail out? So Greg, let's start with you.
Postcards, man. We do postcards through Corfact. The reason why we use Corfact is because that's the only company I know of right now that we can actually track the people that respond to it, and people will come back to the site multiple times. They'll come, and we've been sending cards with them since they were in when they literally just started, when they were cutting the postcards literally by hand. Not like that anymore. They're very sophisticated now, but they have a code on there that you can watch people. So if Matt Julie Johnson, with a 3 obese little wood denting, insulin sucking little babies, would come back and want to sell their home because their kids have gone through the subfloor 3 times and now has created a crater in the hallway, they could come back and they could get a home evaluation, and I would know about it because I get pinged every time someone comes back. So that's the old school stuff that I do send out, and it does work. And yes, Dad, Grandmaster, it does work, because we just did get a inquiry for a gentleman who wants to sell his house for $10 million from the postcards. So yes, it does work, Dad. God, he loves hearing that. God, he loves hearing that.
So Don, let's bounce it to you. In your client work, are you seeing that you seeing any types of mailers that still work, and if so, what are they?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the one that you guys use, but I know that a lot of people use. I don't want to counter your promo here, but things like EDDM.
Sure.
I certainly would advise people to listen to you with regards to that. But I'm a firm believer in mailers, especially if you've got a geographic farm and you work in that geographic farm, especially. And then past clients in Sphere who are still in the area obviously need to be on that list too. So I totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's one of those things where mail is dead. The death of mail is overrated. We see these kind of things go in cycles, and every time a new technology comes along, it seems to supposedly kill the last thing, but it never really dies, and it dies for different age groups and for different demographic groups at a time. And so as things have come along, social media and stuff like that, certain segments of the population have moved most of their attention there. But at the same time, that also creates an opportunity. We've stopped getting a lot of direct mail. And so nowadays, when you get something, it actually pops more than it did 15, 20 years ago when all the guys in direct mail marketing were making their living by sending out all kinds of stuff through the mail. So now that all those guys have moved online, there's a huge opportunity, I think, for direct mail as long as it's well targeted.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
No, after you.
I would agree with that. I think that one of the biggest problems today is we overrate email, and it's so automated that I don't know about you. You get on your computer and go to your email. You got hundreds and hundreds of spam emails, and unless there's something really important to you, you miss it. And if it's coming regularly, and this is the same thing I tell my clients with regards to auto drip campaigns or these drip campaigns that they put people on and then they never go back and connect with them. It's dangerous. It's very dangerous. So I think that the mailing is coming back. If I don't think it ever left, but I think it is. It's more impactful today than it was even 3 or 4 years ago, I think. So
it took a hiatus. You think? Like the postcards took a hiatus. They went to Hawaii on a vacation for a little bit because they weren't being utilized, and now they came back and they're ready to go back to work.
Well, it's like they became the redheaded stepchild for a while.
Yeah, they did.
Well, I think that there's a lot of tracking that's involved with postcards and so on and so forth today that we didn't have 5 or 6 years ago. Some of the things that you were just talking about with regards to a $10 million listing. So I would
emphasize the $10 million.
Yeah, you definitely said it better than I could. Good job.
Oh man, that's funny.
So here's a little tip for you guys. I'm going to put it in the chat right now. It's called unroll.me. If you guys are getting a lot of spam in your inbox and daily inbox, you deploy the unroll.me, and you can put all the unwanted emails in the unroll, and then they will collect them all, put them in that one email, and then you can go sort through that one email instead of having all the hundreds of emails in your inbox, and it will save you a ton of time cleaning up your inbox every single morning, like all of us do. We sit around and we're like, delete. Oh shit, undelete.
Well, for those of you who know Greg personally, I would also like to add another personal tip. So in Gmail, you can actually set up a folder so that all the emails from a specific email address can go into a separate folder. Mm-hmm. So for those of you who communicate with Greg on a regular basis, if you would like to stop getting his emails, you can set up a special folder.
Jackass.
I digress. All right.
Yes, you do. Get back on track, Johnson.
I just had to point that out. Oh man, but yes. So Don, you're right as far as the tracking stuff, and one of the cool things, whether it's Core Factor, whether it's another company, but so the whole phenomenon of lead scoring, right? The idea that you can monitor, that you can now send stuff out into the world, and it's not blind. Right. So you can monitor the engagement, you can monitor the response, and you can then, by the level of engagement, then you can follow up. And you mentioned that, that's the key. I was just talking to a guy before we hopped on here today, and he brought up a quote from Grant Cardone that I was not aware of, but it's an amazing bit of information to have, which is within Grant Cardone's sales training company, his guys, his sales team takes an average of 9 calls before they close a sale. Now, those are the
Nice.
guys that are sitting 20 feet from Grant Cardone himself every single day. And it takes those guys 9 calls to close a sale. What in the world is our excuse?
Really?
We don't have
Really?
Yeah, so we think that we're gonna the idea that we can pick up the phone once, call lead, or that we can just put stuff out there and people are gonna call us back because if they really want to see a house, they'll call me. It doesn't exist. Even the best sales trainer in the world, his staff has to call people 9 times to get them to close. Then we shouldn't really expect anything different for us.
Well, I don't think those numbers are any different for what we do. You look at all the platforms, lead generation platforms out there, from Zillow to all of these different ones, from Realtor.com, and all of those. When you look at the numbers, let's say in the worst case scenario are probably 1%. In the best case scenario, and I've seen some that may be a little bit better, but let's just say it's 10%. That means 90 out of 100 aren't going anywhere. And so you have to, and I've said this to my clients for years, you have to treat every lead like it's solid gold until you know it's not. And sometimes that happens very quickly, obviously, but that's one of the dangers of these passive lead generation programs is we get so many guys out there, so many realtors out there who cherry pick, and they miss the good stuff because there's only 9 or 10 best case scenario that are going to say yes, and the rest are going to say no. If I believe that all of them are going to say no, and you hear this all the time, oh, we get a bunch of crap leads, Well, there are a lot of crap leads, but you've got to go through those to get to the goal. So
that's why it's called farming. You gotta turn up the earth. You gotta water. You gotta plant. You gotta nurture. You gotta weed. You gotta tend.
Absolutely.
You have to guard. Your crop, which are your leads. And if you just say, well, I'm just going to throw one seed in there, it's going to be like Jack and the Beanstalk, a thing's going to sprout, it's going to be rainbows and unicorns and sherbet and, everything else, it's just not going to fucking happen. I mean, unless you literally have the touch of Midas, which you don't, just to make that clear, then you've got to take it more seriously. I mean, when everyone thinks of like mining for gold as sexy and all those big nuggets of gold and these guys, making millions. Well, do you know how much work they had to do to get that gold? Holy Christ. I mean, it is a lot of freaking work. And that's where the disconnect takes place between real estate agents and the fantasy of being a real estate agent. It's not glitz and glam. It's not what you see on TV. It's not what you hear from people telling the highlight reels of their careers. Shit is hard.
Right. For sure. If it wasn't, everybody'd be doing it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we think everybody is, but the reality is they're not.
You walk into a mall and throw a rock in California and throw a rock in any direction, I'm pretty sure you need a real estate agent. It does feel like that sometimes. But all right, so let's take a step back, Don. Let everybody know where they can connect with you, and then we'll kind of dive into the fourth quarter planning and how to get a push going into next year.
Okay. My company is Fidelity Coaching, and I've been coaching for 17 years. I've been coaching mostly realtors, some lenders or brokers, and I spent 15 years in the real estate business selling real estate, and I was in the top producer for the time that I was in there. So I guess that makes me old. Anyway, so
not old.
Wisdom is the key word.
Wisdom.
Right.
But I love coaching. It was kind of a transference from success, which my real estate career was. My real estate business was successful, to significance, because now I get to help other people get what they want, and it's great. I love coaching. It's not as sexy as it you would think, as far as some of the things that we have to go through. You've got to be tough, you got to be direct, and you've got to bring on people that are willing to work and listen. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things that we do, matter of fact, I just wrote a micro book called Turnkey Realtor, and you can grab that on our website, fidelity.com, and it's just a free gift. So feel free to go on there and grab it. It's got about 25 different subjects for realtors, and it's got some good stuff. It's not what I would call overly deep because it's a micro book, but it's got some good stuff in it. And at the same time, I'd like to promote Greg's favorite scripts because I downloaded Greg's favorite scripts, and I think those are great. So why don't you tell them where they can get those?
Wow, that was unexpectedly awesome. Yeah, all you guys listening to this, you should have seen me. I perked up. I'm like, what?
Yeah, well, somebody's talking about you, Greg. Let's give them the URL quickly and move on so your head doesn't get too big.
MyFavoriteScripts.com. I'm going to put it in the link here for you guys where you guys can go download it. And you guys can go get it there, or just go to McDaniel Real Estate Systems. But either way, I'll put it in there right now.
And go to, guys, it's fidelitycoaching.com, and right on the homepage there is the complimentary micro book, Turning Time into Profits. So you can get there right from the homepage from Don's site. Cool. All right, and guys, especially anybody that's watching here on Facebook, make sure to let us know where you're at. So obviously we're all out here in California. Please let us know in the comments where you guys are at. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to hit like and heart and all that good stuff. But especially let people know in the comments where you're at so that you guys can connect with each other and keep each other in mind for referrals and turn this into a way to actually bring business into to your local market.
Yeah, 100%, guys. And besides, we just like to see where you're coming from, be our own version of voyeurs. Ooh,
that's right.
Ooh, Colorado.
Wyatt says, hell, California. Go ahead, Don.
Let me go ahead and talk a little bit about what I kind of set up, and that is business planning. Mm-hmm. Business planning is something that I do with my clients. For instance, every client that was with me in 2016, we put together a business plan, obviously in late October, November of 2016. 2017 actually ends for production, not income, but for production on November 15th. About that, that gives us 45 days left with 3 major holidays in there. So I kind of account for that. Obviously, if you've got a cash buyer between November 15th and December 31st, you could probably get something in. But for the most part, that's where we are. We're 3.5 months away from the end of 2017 for production-wise. So with my coaching clients, one of the things that we do is I have a program that we use called Aware, and we track listings, pendings, closed, buyer and seller pipeline leads, and all of that. And then we also have the business plan attached to it. So every time I meet with my clients, we know exactly what we're trying to accomplish each month, each week, for that matter, as far as how many calls do I have to make, how many dials do I have to make, how many appointments do I need, and we really try to track that. Now I would be lying if I told you everybody does what I tell them to do, because
what?
They just don't. Can you imagine?
Man, they just sound like bad people.
Can you imagine me coaching Greg and getting him to do what I just said? Sorry, Greg. Just a thought.
It's 100% true.
Yeah.
Which I want to dive into that later with you, Don, because that to me is a very interesting topic. Not the psychology of Greg, just the psychology of getting coaching clients to do what you want them to do. So I would love to talk about that. But yeah, let's keep going on business planning. We'll come back to that subject.
Okay. All right. So the thing about business planning is that most agents, or most people for that matter, will sit down and they'll create a business plan in October, November, towards the end of the year. A lot of people don't do it until December 31st, for that matter.
Right.
And they actually do what I call PFA. They pluck a number from the air and say, that's my goal. But we spend a little more time on trying to identify what they're going to do for the year coming up, as far as what have they done in the past? How did the cash flow into their business? We factor in seasonality. In California, you don't have a lot of seasonality, but we do have even in California, you have slower times than not. You have busier times, and so we see that no matter where you are in the country. So, but it's not going to be the same for you as it is for Iowa or Chicago. So, anyway, we factor that in, and so when we're working on that, I give them action plans that are based on, where do you need to be for the month of, right now we're in the month of August. What is our goal? What is our income goal? And what is our average sale price? So how many transactions do we need? And all that goes together. And then I give you the end quarter. And so we're really finishing the third quarter on August 31st, the way I calculate it. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're starting off, your first quarter is like November 15th or the end of November to the end of February, right? Yeah, so you're doing your quarters according to when you can actually get numbers to count towards the end of the year.
Right. I focus more, when you're dealing with people who are serious about building their business, the one thing I have found is that when they put something under contract, 99 times out of 100, they'll close it. That may be an exaggeration today because of some of the challenges that we have with lenders, but for the most part, if it goes under, it makes it 10 days. For the most part, it's going to close. And there's exceptions to that. But for the most part, that's where we focus on. Where do I need to be by the end of August 31st? And am I tracking with that? Okay, so if I'm tracking for August 31st and I'm on track, then the next thing I want to look at in business planning is, what am I thinking about for 2018? Because when I think about 2018, if my goal, let's just say my goal was $150,000 and I'm on track today.
Okay.
As a coach, I'm looking at 2018 and I'm thinking, okay, we got to be producing at a level of about $200,000 if that's where they want to go in 2018. So that's what I mean by that fourth quarter push, rather than so many people get to the point where they take, when it comes November 15th, it's like, well, I got to get ready for 2018. So I'm going to eat the goodies that come in. I'm going to, relax. I'm going to show up at 10 or 11 and going to go home early. And, we've all seen this. If you ever want to see half of the realtors quit the business, all you have to do is go to December 1st and you'll find out that half of them are laying around doing nothing. So anyway, that's where the fourth quarter push comes in, and that's why it's so important to me as a coach is to get them, and this is why so many of my clients, if they're on track right now, will exceed their goals, because I'm pushing them to go towards, in other words, if I was averaging 12.5, I'd be at 150,000. But in that last quarter, even though it's not the easiest quarter, I want to get them up to 15,000 or 17,000 in those last 2 or 3 months if I can. Anyway, that's kind of where it's coming from.
You're taking their 2018 goals and saying, okay, so your performance or your pipeline, in other words, the sales and the marketing systems that are producing the business that you're bringing in, that you want to bring in 2018, essentially you're bringing that into the current year and saying, look, something has to change, whether it's your personal behavior, your rituals, the number of calls you're making, the number of conversations, or something about your marketing systems and your lead generation systems needs to change now. Otherwise, when we do your business planning 2 months from now, you're going to tell me you want to make 25% more and you're going to have no plan to do it. So let's start planning right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Which is what we all, it's one of those things where it's, you build with the end in mind, right? So you look at what your next goal is, whatever that is. And we all have to start thinking a little bit further out. And that always mystified me. And Greg, you've had a ton of these conversations, I'm sure, but, the classic thing is, well, I want to do double the number of transactions. And of course, my first thought is,
you start ringing in my head, what systems do you have in place? Systems.
Thank you.
Right.
You're fucked.
That's the first thing I'm thinking of is what's going to change. Yeah. Right. Because so my good friend and kind of my unofficial coach said something really, really good. I told you this, Greg. I'll share with the audience.
It's a good line.
Yeah, it's a good line. So he said, whatever you don't have in your life right now, you have to be able to admit that you don't have it right now because you are not worthy of it right now. And so the challenge is to rise to the occasion and become worthy of having that in your life. And even if that's just another 25% bump in your business, right? Either that's 25% more calls that you have to make, and that's a personal challenge, or it's generating marketing systems that bring in 25% more leads or 25% better leads. You can go either direction, but it was a really good way to think about it, because it makes you think of it, immediately brings it back to you, not external, not there's something wrong with the world. Zillow leads stink. Online marketing stink. It forces you to take a step back out of all the external stuff and goes right in here.
Yeah, there's something that I just finished the Miracle Morning, the book, for the first time. I'm going to go back and reread it. I just went and bought a journal from the Best of You Life. I'll put the link in there. It's a daily, weekly, monthly journal that I'm going to start filling in. And in the Miracle Morning, he has an email template that you can copy and paste it. He wrote out to 23 of his closest friends and family, some ex-girlfriends, people like that. And it was basically like, hey, I need an unfiltered look at who I am. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What do I come across as? And he said, if you hold back and you go easy on me, you're going to offend me. You're going to hurt my feelings. I need you to be brutally honest. And so I am actually going to send that out. It is scary as shit to actually do that. But this last year, Don, you were talking about how are you going to fix your clients so they get to that next level. I don't have the exact physique, body and physique and health that I want. And then I looked at what I'm doing. I've been doing the same fucking thing for the last 3 years, and I've been frustrated for the last 3 damn years. So I'm like, okay, I got to change this.
Right.
And I'm looking at my team and what Matt and I are building, and I know there's tweaks I need to do, and I'm willing to change. And I think a lot of people get so comfortable that they tell themselves, oh, I'm doing okay. It's fine. I'll just work a little harder doing the same exact thing. But we all know the cliche line, doing the same exact thing, expecting, different results, is insanity. And that's exactly what I realized I have been doing. I've been insane to think that my body would change by doing the same workouts every single week, having the same diet, having the same routine. Not going to happen. And I think that a lot of us need to have a coach like Don to kick us square in the taint and help us realize the fact that if you do the same things, I said do, by the way, then you will have a different result if you change your ways. And Don, I think it's amazing that you get your clients to do that. And I bet they see profound differences in their incomes, don't they?
Oh yeah, absolutely. One of the other thoughts that came to me as you were speaking was, it's different for everybody. If I take somebody who comes to me, and I do take some, people that are making $50,000 to $75,000, they want to make $100,000 to $150,000. What they have, they don't have the resources or even the finances to do what they will be able to do when they get to those higher dollar volumes. When you're making $150,000, you have a whole different perspective on where some of that money is going to go as far as marketing and so on and so forth. Whether it's additional postcards, or whether it's buying some of Zillow or Realtor.com or some of the other platforms that are out there, or Boomtown, and you don't get into those until you're at $250,000, $300,000. So there's different levels. Everybody's not going to do. I have to assess where they are when they come on board, and some of the things that they think they would like to do, they're not capable of doing today until we make more money. And so there are steps that have to take place in order to get them moving. That's why I have a lot of clients that have been with me for years. Because we take them from one level to the next level to the next level, and then it isn't always about money unless you're a high dominant.
Right. Well,
yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Make your acquaintance. But you know what? So basically, like any of the millennials, Wyatt, that's on here, you're very familiar with video games. So Don, it sounds like you've kind of played it out in a video game scenario. So you start off on level 1, you don't have a lot of money, don't have a lot of weapons or skills, and you slowly go through this and you get your scars and you take your licks and you have your micro wins to your macro wins. You graduate to level 2, level 3, level 4, and so on. And I think that pairs perfectly with what Matt, you said, with what Pasquale was talking about, to the fact that, are you worthy of it? You can't start off on a video game and be at level 20. You won't know what to do with everything up there. It's like throwing a 3-year-old the keys to a Ferrari. The kid's gonna he's gonna just chew on them. You can't do a shit with that. And that's the same thing with being skilled enough in the business to want to be a team lead or to be a top producer when you're just starting out. You have no fucking clue what to do with it. If we just said, okay, here's your team, now to go for it. Like, oh my God, what do I do now? I think that's so important that you instill that, Don. Because a lot of people, they think they coddle clientele and say, well, you showed it. You get a participation award, and we'll get you there. But you're like, no, stupid, you don't deserve it. You can't handle it. You can't handle the truth.
Well, I'm not cheap, and so you got to be able to pay for it. So I want to make sure that they have success. Otherwise, I don't see them again next year, and I've got a pretty good. Hopefully they're gonna be with me for several years. So anyway, that's kind of how we do it.
Well, one of the things that I found so interesting about you is that you have a large clientele that's been with you for a long time, right?
Yes.
Now, the average client will churn through a coach in what amount of time, Don?
I would say 1 or 2 years. I think my average is somewhere between 3 and 5, and then I've got people that have been with me for 8 to 10 years. And with those, for the most part, it's we either get to a level that says I'm content, which high D's don't ever get to, do they?
No. Right? God, no. Are you freaking kidding me? I'm pissed off. I haven't achieved more today by this time. I'm always pushing.
It's like the bigger the show gets, the unhappier we are with how not big bigger it is.
We're only getting 200 million downloads a month.
I mean, unhappier is that's not accurate. We're happy, but still not. It's a hard balancing act for high D. Yeah, we're never satisfied, but that's not to say we're discontent, right? And that's a hard thing for people to get, which is that riding the line. I don't even know if it's a line to ride, and I'd love to hear your perspective on it. But especially the guys, because you're working with those people after 8 to 10 years, if they're still with you, they're at the point where they've achieved a lot of the stuff that you've set out for them and help them achieve, right? So they're at the point where they either, you'll know by their behavior whether they've hit their limit and they're content, right? Or whether they're the type of person that always has to be achieving and they're never happy, or if it's the person that can actually be happy while achieving more. What do you think? I mean, what have you seen? What are the commonalities in the people that are kind of, they're never satisfied with staying where they are, but they're happy where they are? What do you think that is?
What's the actual question there? As far as how many?
The commonalities in the clients that you see, where they're still pressing, they can still press and they still want to grow, but they're happy along the way in the journey.
I don't see a lot of those that I would call happy. I again, I don't want to pick on high dominance, but we're here, and the reality is that you guys keep moving the freaking goalposts. It's like, do you ever take time to celebrate your victories and really enjoy it? And that's really the key. There's nothing wrong with keeping and growing and growing and growing. I think that, Tony Robbins once said that if you're not growing, you're dying, period. Bottom line is everything on earth is either growing or dying. And I may be old, but I don't think I'm dying yet.
Don, I think you're good, buddy.
I think so.
So talk about growing and dying and standing still and everything else. I talk about this a lot, and I want to get your opinions on this. I believe that there are 3 different phases of everything. You have your comfort zone, which is like The Walking Dead, because you're just gonna sink into quicksand. You have your stretch zone, then you have your stress zone. And I think a lot of the times, a lot of folks need to understand that you have to go from your comfort zone to your stress zone. When you're scared, you don't know what to do, you're being dropped into the deep end with lead boots on, you got to learn how to swim. Otherwise, you're not going to make it, because out of necessity, out of your stress zone, you'll move into your stretch zone, your middle area here, where you should be living constantly,
Mm-hmm.
where you're a little bit freaked out, you're a little bit comfortable, but it's not sit on the couch with your stretchy pants on, eating, Cheetos, watching your favorite, soap opera. It's got to be that
Right.
a little bit of fear, right? I mean,
Right.
is that where you keep your folks?
No, I think there's always a degree of fear, and I think stress is actually a good thing until it becomes a bad thing, which sounds redundant. But bottom line is that stress is what drives many of us. Matter of fact, I've had clients that we hit a plateau, and the reason why we couldn't go any further is they had everything that they wanted. They didn't have, and every time they would, maybe, and I'm not talking about a lot of debt. I'm talking about, well, I want to buy a boat, but and that boat would drive me to, I don't want to pay cash for it. I want to pay it off with some of my return. And so sometimes there are people that say, I guess I need a little stress. I need to put a little stress in my life and my business. And so, but I do agree that there is too much. I mean, too much stress, and I would say that most of the stress most of our really most damaging stress comes from not making enough money.
Mm-hmm. Now, does that go back to personal?
Not being able to pay your bills.
Does that go back to? I'm assuming that goes back to personal daily habits, self-belief, mental, inner talk,
right?
All of that side. I mean, you coach a lot of people. I have the blessed opportunity to work with a lot of people, a person every day. By the way, guys, anyone who's listening right now, I had my McDaniel challenge flake out on me today. So if anyone messages me, the first person to message me, I will coach you today at 6 p.m. And do the McDaniel challenge. You guys can jump the line if you want to do that. But the thing is that majority of the time, people think it's a tactical issue to success when it's a mental issue. They have some sort of demon or some sort of gremlin up in their head, or a drunk monkey sitting on their shoulder whispering untruths into their ear. When it's completely unfounded, they have bad influences in their lives, and they believe the bad influence.
Right. Absolutely. Go ahead.
No,
I didn't mean to cut you off. No, I was just going to say, having a positive focus on life is extremely important. You hear what goes around comes around. What you think about, you have a tendency to bring into your life. Mm-hmm. So if you're focused on all the negative crap that goes on in your business, you get a client that has 2 deals that fall apart, within a month. And they're all of a sudden, they're a top producer, and they're saying, "Gosh, what if the rest of the world finds out I'm a phony?" Where did that come from? It came from self-talk, negative self-talk. So, really important. I agree, and it's the disciplines of the business. It's the disciplines of doing what you need to do on a regular basis, and it's one of the reasons why we track all our prospecting efforts and so on and so forth. Because you're never going to know your numbers if you don't track. And we know numbers are important. We know they're extremely valuable in growth. So knowing that is a key. It's hard to get people to actually do that, to be honest with you, to really track.
It is. There has to be there has to be a big enough carrot on the end of the stick for them, because obviously it's probably not natural for us to track numbers if you haven't done it before, unless we're the personality that enjoys that in other areas of our life. So there's a whole quantified self movement of people that are tracking their hours of sleep and the steps that they walk and all this stuff. I don't give a crap about that. So for me to track numbers, I have to, as disciplined as I am in other areas of my life, that is an area where I have to force myself to be disciplined. That does not come naturally. So for me, you have to be able to sell me. And fortunately, I have a good coach, essentially, and friend that has given me the right carrot on the end of the stick, which is this. It's the ability to make intelligent decisions that will propel your business forward. And you can't make those decisions based on feel and intuition and all this stuff. They have to be based on actual metrics.
Absolutely.
So figure out what the
Absolutely.
metrics are, get yourself to track them, and then you'll be able to make better decisions. Well, that speaks to me, right? So he figured out
Right.
what it is that speaks to me, which is I hate the idea of putting in a lot of work into a strategy that isn't the best one. And so like that was the right mental lever for me to go, okay, great. I need to track this, and we're going to track this, and my staff is going to track this, and all this stuff. And like it's still a battle. It's still a fight. But at least
Right.
I found the right carrot on the end of the stick. And for anybody, whether you're working with a coach or whether you're just on your own, you do some soul searching and figure out if there's something that you're struggling to do, and numbers tracking is that way for a lot of people. You have to find that right carrot on the end of the stick for you.
Right.
It could be good decision making. It could be the fact that just knowing that you're tracking it, you'll naturally make more calls, or that's a natural
Right.
phenomenon. Just stuff like that. So whatever it is for you, it's crucial to find the why and get down to that and figure out what that is, so that you can like motivate yourself to do something that doesn't come naturally. It's tough to do.
So there's a Darren
Right.
Hardy in the Compound Effect. Was it a Compound Effect, or was it in the Entrepreneurial Roller Coaster? He was talking about the fact that he was having a conversation with a buddy of his, and his buddy was saying like, gosh, I'm really, I every week I'm a little bummed out on Wednesdays or on Thursdays, and I just don't know what's going on. So Darren goes, go start journaling what you do every day. And the guy's like, fuck, man, I'll do anything at this point. So he goes back and he journaled every day what he did, his actions. And he found out that every other Wednesday he would go to lunch with coworkers from his past company. And then Thursday, he'd be all bummed out because of the conversations he had on Wednesday. So therefore, he went out and cut out that lunch, and his depression and bad mental mindset went away. We can't understand what we're doing until we write it down and track it. That's why I'm not a huge journaler, but I'm so excited to start journaling to see where I'm doing it wrong. I know I'm doing it wrong. I know it.
Right.
I just need to know where and how bad it is. Then I can go in and surgically fix it, guys. You have got to take stock of your own life, your own business, your own marriage, your own relationship with your significant other, your spouse, your kids, your coworkers, your boss, whoever, whatever it is, and understand what you like doing, what you don't like doing. Cut out what you don't like, emphasize what you do like and what you're good at. Your life will explode in every aspect.
Absolutely. It's interesting, as you guys were both talking, one of the things I was thinking about was the fact that today with technology, and you take a look at platforms like Boomtown or Zillow, we have so much integrated tracking with those programs, but it only gives you so much. It doesn't give you the whole perspective. And so it's not like, okay, I did my tracking. No, you didn't do your tracking. Your tracking is done through this platform. But the real tracking comes into how many calls are you making? How many dials are you making? How many contacts are you making? How many leads are you getting? How many appointments are you getting? And how many houses? I mean, for guys that are working with buyers, here's a great question. How many houses does it take how many houses do you have to show before somebody buys? Because with technology, really, with technology and input from our clients, really, you shouldn't only have to show them 3 or 4 houses before they make a decision. There are reasons why that doesn't work, and there are exceptions to that rule. But for the most part, that's kind of where we are. If you're spending a lot more time than that, you need to check in with yourself on that, because the bottom line is that we've got the wherewithal to be able to make that happen.
So what is
just something that's unreal.
What is the biggest thing that you've dealt with, Don, that you've helped your clients with overcome that mental block of tracking? Because I know, why don't they do it? What is their big hang up, honestly?
Well, I think, there's something that it's a real phenomenon. It's called call reluctance, and people have a lot of different reasons why they don't like to pick up the phone. But what I find the biggest challenge in people picking up the phone is they don't have a plan. They don't have a plan for picking up the phone, and that's why I gave you the shout out on the scripts. Because to have a script and have a direction where you're going to go when you get on that phone is 90% of it. Because and then you got to recognize that when you first get on the phone with that script, you're going to suck. You're going to suck. Period. It's not going to be great. But if I don't do it, I'll never get better. And so it's that constant repetition is the mother of skill. Repetition, constantly doing something over and over again until it's locked into your brain. And so that's one. The biggest issue I think that people have is that they know that prospecting works. They know that tracking works, but they know it intellectually. Yeah. And until you track it and you see the results, you don't know. I mean, you don't believe it in your heart. You don't really buy into it 100%.
Yeah, I was talking with Lily a week or two ago, a little over 2 weeks now, and I had to browbeat her a little bit because she was giving me every excuse under the sun why she couldn't door knock, why she couldn't call, and she's probably going to cut my heart out with a spoon for me saying this on air. But she and I kind of laid the law down. I'm like, look, the reason you're not where you are because you aren't doing the fucking work. End of story. You do blah 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 blah. That shit ain't going to pay the bills. And so of course she got very mad. Right. But she came back around. Dude, she is a different human being now. Because she is pumped, dude. She is jacked to get out on the doors and the calls every day. She missed her doors yesterday. She's like, Greg, I'm doing 2 hours of doors today because I missed my other doors. And I can't not make my agreements. And, my commitments. She has a goal. She has a timeline set down on the calendar. It's amazing to see when someone can understand because she's getting leads every day, right? She's talking to great people, writing thank you notes. It's fun. You're seeing success. The reason you see success is because you do the ritual. When you do the ritual on a continual basis, you get success on the ultimately the highest levels. But you got to do the grunt work to get to the celebrity work. You don't.
Well, and it is a process. I got to say that I'll get somebody to actually do the prospecting, do the tracking, and this line will blow you away. All of a sudden they'll have business, and I'll ask them how they're doing on their tracking, or I'll say, well, why aren't you tracking? And they say, well, I just got too busy. Yeah. I said, well, you want me to play that back for you? I got too busy. And that's why you have to block time for this on a regular basis, because we know what happens when you get deals under contract. You move into that pending mindset that you've got to spend all of your time to baby these things and get them through. What you don't recognize is that there are other people who want to see this get through. You've got a buyer, a seller, you've got a lender, you've got a title person. All these people want to see that transaction closed. You don't have to babysit it 8 hours a day. You can actually do some work, Yeah. So anyway, that's a big push too. So
yeah. So that's a big hang up. We all feel that. We all get a little bit of that. Nobody can serve the client like I can. I think we all struggle with that.
No way. Right. I am way better at passing the buck. Eileen, here you go.
Okay, Greg, you are the exception.
Taking it out of my hands is the best thing to do. I mean, I have to do negotiations on the writing or the listing agreement. Fine, I'm in. A request for repairs. Fine, I'm in. Pass it off to the team for the rest of it. I'm the happiest guy on planet Earth. I do think they can do it way better than I can, and I'm willing to let that be proved, which is, I know, weird.
Well, and if you have the infrastructure and you're making the kind of money, then that's absolutely the way to go, and that's exactly where I push my people when they're in that position where they've got somebody administratively, because let's face it, high payoff activity is writing and negotiating the offer. After that, it's all admin stuff. I mean, no matter what, there's no more money in it for the hours that you're going to put in it. It's low payoff. It's not no payoff, but it's low payoff stuff. It keeps you from doing the things that actually bring dollars into the business. So
yeah, it's so true.
Great if you've got somebody.
Yeah, God, I have two of them. I have a backup. In case one goes out on a maternity leave, I bring in the secondary, and she just crushes it as well.
Well, that's because you have all those $10 million listings.
No, that's one.
With just one. Okay, all right.
But I'll take it. I have no problem with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man,
Absolutely.
that's funny. All right, so in the quest to wrap things up, let's handle one last question that caught my eye, and one last.
Oh yeah, we did do one. Never mind.
Yeah, we did one. We did
myself.
one at the top of the show. There's one other one that caught my eye that I wanted to make sure that we got to before we closed out. So this is from Stephanie Young. She says, "What is the one question I must ask all visitors at my open house?" Greg, let's start with you.
Do you prefer tidy whities or boxers? The one question is, how did you find us today? Was it the signs, the web, or did your agent send you? That right there is the most important question in my personal opinion, because at that very beginning conversation you have with them, if there's someone you should spend time with or if there's someone you should not spend time with, because you only have a finite amount of time in front of these people. And if Matt and Julie walk in with their little thunderous elephant children, then I will not spend time with them because they work with Don as a real estate agent. Now, if I go meet another couple and they are not working with anyone, they came from the web, great, I'm going to spend time with them. I'm still going to be nice to Matt and Julie because I'm a nice guy, but I'm not going to be like trying to, wine them and dine them and get them to work with me. So getting that, I've done it many a times. I'll talk to people, great rapport, we're having fun. They're like, oh yeah, we'll have our agent call you. I'm like, God damn it.
That's fun. All right, Don, what say you? What do you think is the most important question you can ask a visitor at an open house?
Well, I think the obvious answers are what Greg just got through saying. And I think those are really important. I think the obvious next question is, and he alluded to it, is, are you working with another agent? And I think you got to take that a little bit further than, are you working with another agent? Do you have a buyer? Do you have an agreement? Have you signed an agreement with the agent? Are they giving you what you want? Are they showing you properties? Did they get you pre-approved? And really digging down a little bit further on that to see whether or not that's it's legit. Because when you ask somebody if they're working with somebody, it's kind of like walking up to somebody in a department store and saying, "Can I help you?" What is your natural response?
I'm just looking.
Just looking.
Yep.
Just looking.
Greg, my natural reaction, Greg just sent me here to buy tidy whities for him. That's all I'm here for. That's my knee-jerk reaction. But
why are you buying my underwear? That's just weird.
But yeah, I agree, Don. If you were to ask that question, you ask, are you working with an agent? That is an easy way for them to just kind of get you off of their back, essentially. So yeah, right. I do agree. Greg, you believe it's a little bit touchy, and I agree. You can come off a little bit too strong if you ask that in the wrong way. But I think if you ask in a genuine, consultative, coming from a place of curiosity and just making sure that they're well served, I think you can ask a couple of deeper questions on that and really feel them out, and just to see if it's just a knee-jerk type of answer.
Right.
You can. Right. Another opportunity to test them. I love doing this. Like, oh, Matt, you're working with an agent? Who are you working with? I probably know him.
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable telling you that. Motherfucker, you don't have an agent. Man, you can't even get their name right. Man,
wow, alive. That's a lot of
vitriol. I hate that answer.
That is a lot of vitriol for an open house visitor. Goodness.
Just want to you're lying to me, fool.
All right. No, but, so we do have a good comment from the audience. Paul Franklin, this is his favorite question to ask at an open house. How is Elvis, and have you seen him lately? So I think that's a great way to send off the show right there. So
that's Matt's cat's name.
All the comments going back and forth just between Paul and Wyatt alone were worth the price of admission for this podcast. Don, go back and look at the comments that have been flying back and forth between viewers during our show. You will get a giant kick out of it. So anyway. Just want to remind everybody on Don's behalf to go to fidelitycoaching.com, download the microbook, and then Don, do you want them to do anything else as far as reaching out directly to you if they're interested in learning more about you or potentially working with you?
Yeah, I mean, I love to get an email from you. I love don.cunningham@fidelitycoaching.com. Phone number 817-421-9854.
It's a risky move. Phone number on the air.
Shameless. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, we encourage shameless plugs here. We do it ourselves.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah. And don't forget to get Greg's favorite script.
I love this.
I know, this is great. Don, you're the most considerate guest ever. Seriously.
I know. Oh, the ego is just being just.
Well, it's not the ego stroking, but anyway. All right, guys. So, and then for us, so the major thing for us right now is we've got 1 week to go until our next round of Get Now Business. That is our live course, a simple 4-step marketing plan to put commissions in your pocket in the next 90 days, with zero cold calling, zero door knocking, zero crazy marketing budgets by strategically going after the 2 types of elements in people that you need in order to get now business, which is connection and need. And we're going to talk to you about exactly how to find the people where you have an existing connection, and within those people, how to find the ones that have the need. And those are the ones that are most likely to do business with you within the next 90 days. And we're going to talk about how to actually take those conversations, change them, improve them, and turn them into conversations that instead of going nowhere and fizzling out and ending up in no business and no referrals, we're going to explain and share with you exactly how to turn those into conversations that convert into real appointments and real business, which is where a lot of people are kind of dropping the ball. So that's the class, getnowbusiness.com, getnowbusiness.com. That starts next Tuesday, guys. So if you're listening to on the recorded version, it may come out and you may still have time to sign up. But if you're on the live version, go check it out now because you've only got a few more days to sign up.
Yeah, guys, and we are getting rave reviews. Doug Kim, I was speaking with him earlier today. Knuckles to you, homie. He cannot wait to get in the class, and we are getting a lot of just phenomenal people that are very, 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 very pumped for coming through it. They are getting business now from doing what we told them to do. I had a conversation with an individual yesterday who had got his first $1 million listing by contacting a coworker, just like we told them to do. And we were working on how to do his first open house and everything like that. But guys, please follow. Again, I said follow me and Matt on social media, on Facebook. Matt will not friend you. I can't friend you. There's a big difference there. I got a big heart. He has a heart of a cold stone. But it's okay. We blend each other out quite well. But But we do this because we love you guys. We want to see you succeed. Wyatt, it was awesome talking to you today, my friend. I see amazing things. You're a hunter of knowledge, and I see you doing well, guys. I am going to start a list of people. If you guys want to be on the McDaniel Challenge or you want to jump the list, the people that have been waiting for a long time are giving me bullshit excuses why they can't get on the phone, and that is irritating me, and I'm wasting time when I could be talking with someone who wants to grow their business. So I'm going to start calling all of you that are on the McDaniel Challenge Monday to verify it for the week. If anyone does not answer or cannot do it, please respond immediately so I can fill, and everyone email me or Facebook message me your information that you do want to do the challenge. I will put you on the list. Whoever responds first, down, and I will just go through that list and see who can get on the next round of calls. But guys, you are amazing human beings. Matt, anything else you want to say? Don, anything else you guys want to say before we kick this puppy home?
I'd like to just say thank you. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to getting to know you guys even better. So thank you very much.
Us too.
Appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure. Don, don't you go anywhere. For the rest of you fools, peace out, ninjas. We gone.